Welcome everyone to Nathan's Mailbag, episode number 2, guys. I hope you enjoyed episode number 1 of this is the new era again of the Broken by Concept universe. So again, just for people to recap why we're doing these separately, we get a lot of questions. Send us the email, your questions to brokenbyconceptshow@gmail.com. We got a lot. We got to get through my mailbag. Where it's filled up to the brim.
Data control.
Papers coming through it, but you got to get these questions done. And we need to connect with the community. We love answering these questions, and you guys write in fantastic questions. So here we go. First fantastic question here. This question is from Mr. Fort. How do I convince myself to keep trying? Hi, Curtis and Nathan. How do I convince myself to keep trying in a game? So I think this is his rank journey in general, just in a game. I've been meaning to ask you this question for a long time because it's been a consistent problem for me, but I couldn't quite find the words to describe it. In your most one of your episodes, episode 98, you mentioned that even though the game is lost, you keep trying, and I've been able to justify that to myself. I have this mental block where when I feel like I have nothing left to learn, where I call it end of review in the VOD. So he's like playing the game, he's already thinking, oh, this is end of review.
Yep, end of review mistake.
I really struggle to keep playing it out and tend to FF or rage split, or sometimes even start taking my own turrets. By stacking waves to crash into them.
Wait, what?
What does that mean?
Like, as in, like, he wants to stack the waves into his tower so the tower takes more damage?
Oh, Jesus.
I didn't know you could do that. That's next level.
So he's like not hitting the wave and he's like stacking it up.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't even say that's not even not trying. That's like
self-sabotage to the max.
Intentionally losing the game for your team. I know that I really ought to keep trying, but I can't figure out why. Here's some context to break down how I got to that point. Number 1, I trust that if I improve, the LP gains come naturally. If I'm not at a skill point and I gain some LP, I'm just going to fall back to where my skill dictates. So this is the justifications in his mind for why he should do it.
Okay, right, yep.
Number 2, if the game is decided, the only way to win is if the enemy hard throws, and this is unreliable and won't happen every time.
Okay,
I think that's a really important one. We can break that one down because I've had this. I've literally had this thought. It's like sort of like you don't deserve to win. It's like if they should play properly and I never lose it, I never win this game, right? Because it's not reliable and therefore not replicable, any LP gains from lucking into a win from that game will only temporarily, because the mistakes I made that lead to that point will simply cause a loss in the future. Number 3, if I feel like I'm at the point where I'd call end of review in a VOD, I feel like nothing further in that game helps me learn. I won't even review past that point because my learn objectives are passed, so what could I possibly learn?
Yep.
He says this is especially true when my learning objectives are in laning phase, because mistakes in laning phase make mid-game, late game mistakes unrealistic for once I fix those mistakes. Number 4, this only happens when I'm playing seriously to learn/climb. If I'm just chilling with Yuumi top or AFK Super Minion Simulator, I always play the game out and never FF because I'm just having fun and there's nothing specific that I'm playing the game to focus on. I don't know about the Yuumi top one there, Mr. Fort. If my team is losing to the enemy team, I think that's unlikely to change over the course of a game. I've heard of a lot of advice saying to never gank a losing lane because that laner lost from even once for a reason. So if they get back even, they're just going to lose from even again. To me, this logic applies to whole teams as well, and my brain usually thinks just go next. My current sometimes solution is to play with a duo of similar rank to me. He is a friend from outside of league, and that guilt trips myself into trying because I don't want to piss him off. However, this solution is definitely putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. So overall, the question is, where did the logic above go wrong? What can I think to justify to myself that I need to play every game out and try to win until the very end?
Wow.
This is a really good email.
It is.
I love this.
I like how he's put in a lot of thought to kind of give us background information on why he behaves this way, right?
He's a very logical guy. He's smart, which is to the detriment. Remember we say this a lot of the time, the smarter you are, the actually harder it is to improve at league.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very general thing to say,
general, right? But something we've observed, right? Like
well,
really
I guess it is
people.
it's more logic. That's a better way to put it. Rather than smart, it's if you're more analytical in your approach to the game, you can create more sophisticated narratives, and that can lead to digging you a deeper hole.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like he's done some self-reflection. He knows, I think he's pinpointed everything. Like this is, I've had experience.
So I think I want to preface this answer, Nathan, by saying that like, no matter what our response is here to these, I guess his reasons for his behavior is that like, it is always going to be difficult. Like it's never going to be easy. Like for myself included, right? I will have games where I check out.
You check,
like,
absolutely.
Like it's like, I'm not immune to checking out. Nathan and I are sitting here and I've seen him check out in games and I've checked out in his games. Like it happens. Now, like, so it's something that, yes, you can have all these tips and tricks and
it's never going to be perfect.
It's never going to be perfect. It is always going to be difficult. Legends,
there's just so much stuff that like, there's so many things that's going to build.
So you've got to treat this with respect. Yeah. Like it's a skill in itself, right? And it takes time to develop, and you got to treat this losing gracefully as a skill, and you got to treat it with respect. Okay, Nathan. So I think what we do is we break them down one by one, right?
All right.
Is that the way you want to go about this one?
All right. So the first one was, I trust that if I improve, the LP gains come naturally.
Yeah.
If I'm not at a skill point and I gain some LP, I'm just going to fall back anyway. So what's the point of getting the LP?
Okay. I want to add something here. Okay. So if you think about your LP or the level you're at, again, made up of skills, right? Like say you're a Diamond 4 player. You know, you've got all these skills at differing levels that contribute to you being a Diamond 4 level player. Losing gracefully is one of them. It's a skill within itself. Your ability to minimize and lose gracefully is just another skill.
Not like lose the game for your team.
Yeah, not lose the game is a skill. Equally as important as any of the other skills. Like it's just another skill. Now, I'm not saying you need to have that skill to climb. You don't need it, but it helps and it's an advantage. So yes, it doesn't mean you're going to be improving at these other aspects by doing that, but it is a skill that needs to be treated with respect, and you need to be proud of yourself for being able to lose gracefully, because it's going to give you an advantage. And rather than seeing it as he's viewing it as like training wheels in a way, right? He's viewing it as like, it's compensating for his other errors. No, it's not. It's just another skill that you need to develop. Don't view it in a negative light. And by the way, you know, this actually extends to even competitive play. You got to realize that even at the highest level, if you get counterpicked in draft, say you're a top laner, you get counterpicked in draft, it's your job to be able to lose gracefully. Like you die once, sure, that's a mistake, and that could be a massive mistake. Your ability to minimize and play around the win cons of that game is a skill. Equally as important as being able to win when you're the winning side, right?
Given that you're going to have like not many items and you're going to be pretty weak, like that's a skill learning. Like I'm not going to like I have to take very specific fights, engages. I need to try and get this wave, you know, like get farm a little bit here and make sure they're not going to break the tower, making sure I'm hard to kill, get dived.
It's the same for you in jungle, Nathan. I'm assuming you've had games where you're playing Rek'Sai and you mess up a really bad gank at level 3. Yes, it's very easy to kind of give up on that game, say that's my learning, my game's really screwed now. It's actually a skill in itself, in a way, to still be impactful and still be somewhat useful and not be a bot in that game.
That's exactly how I view it now. I literally had a game. Andrew will know what I'm talking about because I'll stream it in Soul 2. I remember I went to bot. So then enemy Ezreal super fed. He's like 4-0 at that point. And bot's my only option. I go bot and like I should have been a free kill, but he plays it pretty well. But I was like, this should be a kill. I have flash, I have ult, everything. I die it was super close, you know? And then I just thought the game exploded, right? Like I gave him red buff. We double killed. Now he's 6-0, right? Yep. And then we still won that game in 25-26, which that was literally an end of mistake. Like,
so before, if you hadn't developed a skill of being able to still be useful,
check out the game.
You'll check out into lose, isn't it?
But I guess what my mindset was, I started, it was funny because I actually unmuted on the Discord.
Right.
And I started to have fun with the game more so.
Interesting.
And because I was with Andrew, because Andrew is like, he's another Rek'Sai player. So he sort of like, you know, he like, even though he's platinum, he sort of like helps me as well because we can, you know, you have to see the mistakes, right? And I'm just like saying, like, I was just having fun with my commentary and stuff. I'm like, all right, I literally said, I'm just going to brute force bot and just see what happens. And I was just in a curious mindset. And then that first kill, get the shutdown, and then get another kill, and then another kill. And then suddenly I'm in a position to win. And then I'm actually playing really well. I'm like, and then I literally said, fuck, I'm good at this game. You know, I was like memeing, like having fun and stuff. I was like, I kept on saying, someone sign me to the LCS now because my gameplay is insane here. So that's what I did. That's my toolkit. Like I guess I'm more willing to maybe take risks to get back into a game because I sort of have to do some crazy.
Well, again, it really depends on the game. The Rek'Sai, there's probably going to be games where you don't have to do that, right? Yeah. Like I've had games where I'm coaching someone and I had one today where he was playing Victor. He was versing a Vlad. He died twice to Diana ganks, right? And then he thought in his mind the game was over. Like I think the Vlad was 2-0. He had no flash. He's like out of the game. If
Vlad plays perfectly, he'll close out the game.
Yeah, that's what he thought. He's like, Vlad's down so strong. One of these things. His top one, he had like a 3-1 Fiora and like a 3-0 Ezreal. And he won the game. And part of our review was he asked a good quality question. It was, can you explain to me what I was missing and why we won this game? And I explained to him why Fiora was actually really good into this comp. Like there was low CC, like they couldn't shut down the Fiora. Like she could just run rampant, and there was double AP top in jungle. So the Fiora got like a wit's end and she was like unkillable. And I explained how, Vlad can be strong, but he actually doesn't have the gap closer he can't deal with all these mobile champions. Like there was an Ezreal or Fiora on his team. Like Vlad couldn't shut down all of them. Like Vlad could probably only kill one of them and use everything, but then the other person was going to clean up. So he had a really solid multi-threat comp with 2 of his other carries being fed. All he had to do was just be a relevant AP threat. That's all he had to do.
Just get a throw it in.
Sit under your tower. Yeah, sit under your tower, build Leandries and press R. And like you just got to build properly, farm relatively well, don't continue to die and trying to contest, and then you're just going to win the game. And he won, but he made it hard for his team. He didn't need to die nearly as much as he did, right? Yeah. So like now he understands, right? So I think an element of it is like, I guess, curiosity, and that's all in hindsight, obviously. You know, these are things in hindsight. It's hard. It's a different story when you're in the game itself. I would say for me, my mindset most of the time, again, I haven't actually been good at this recently because I've been learning a champ, and when you're learning a champ and you get behind, it's really brutal. Yeah. But when I'm playing my main champion, I guess like, I don't know, I have that mentality you say, which is make it as hard as possible for the enemy to win the game. But I kind of do it out of respect in a weird way. Like I know how annoying it is when I'm in a winning position and someone else in my team refuses to let me carry. Like, it's infuriating. It's actually really, really frustrating. It's like if this guy just goes down 40 CS.
He doesn't have to do anything.
Just lets me take over the game. I will win this game for you. You can lose your tower. You can go down 40 CS. You just got to not constantly like run it down. Yeah, don't be a hero. Don't die 7 times. I know how frustrating that is. So actually, most of the time for me, I try and do it out of respect most of the time. Like respect. You know, there's some. I guess like we're all playing the game. There's some semblance of respect for the people in the game, isn't there? Like. It's like, I don't want to ruin the experience for everyone else in this game. I don't want to be that guy. Like, it's embarrassing. It's actually really embarrassing.
In the short term, you can be, sometimes we've talked about this before, it's like a defense mechanism to be like, if you like stop trying and lose, it's like fine. But if you try really hard and still lose, that hurts your ego. It hurts your ego,
yeah.
So that makes sense why people do that.
Yeah, people do that, yeah. Because they can't accept reality that.
I think that's more common than like you respect in your...
But I feel like we're at a different stage of our journey, right? Like when I was younger playing League, I was terrible at this. I was like, what was his name again?
Fort.
I was like Fort. I would purposely lose the game because I wouldn't let anyone win. I didn't want to be rewarded. Like that was my exact mentality. I refused to win the game because how dare I? It was disgusting for me to win this game. Like, how dare I win?
Yeah.
Like, I had this elitist mentality. But I think I had that like one really painful experience where oh no, that was a different story. We weren't worried about that. But anyway, that was my mentality. But I think as I got older, I started to realize how embarrassing that is. And it's just immature behavior. And I just treat myself with more respect as well, really.
Which leads to respect in your teammates more.
With release of I don't want to be that guy. And obviously my name being Coach Curtis doesn't help. Yeah. I mean, it helps me in this case, sorry. Like, obviously, if I had the thing of anonymity, I could act like an arsehole and get away with it.
Names all the time.
But I think treat yourself with respect. What sort of league player do you want to be? Do you want to be that arsehole that ruins the game for everyone else? Or do you want to put up a tough fight to be that sort of guy that has a lot of emotional regulation, a tough guy to beat? Ultimately, that really depends on what sort of league player you want to be, right? I mean, that's at least what makes me excited when I think about this. It actually makes me feel something. I get like a visceral effect. Like it makes me feel excited in a way, you know? But it's very easy to get complacent, isn't it? Like if you don't get told this, you're like, yeah, here we go. I'm just going through the motions again. Another death, another death, another death.
I want to go back to the skills. So yeah, the thing that switched for me is I started viewing mid-game reading the map, playing around sides as a skill.
Right.
So basically, you know, that Rek'Sai game, I was having fun, but actually now that I think about it more, I was trying very hard and I still was playing. I was relying on my skill, which is sort of like
But you dropped your ego, it sounded like. That's what it sounded like. It sounds like you removed your ego from the game and you're just like, let's just do what I can.
Do what I can and then use my skills.
Yeah.
And then I relied on my mid-game skill, reading the map, getting picks, because I've done that so many times because I have the Champ Master and Rek'Sai. Oh, that's the other thing as well. At the end of the game, I literally told Andrew, I said, this is why Champ Master is so important because I'll never win this game on any other champ because I know I played games from behind. I've fucked up so many times on Rek'Sai. I know that I can still win those games.
I always feel like there was another point, one of his points was something how he feels as though someone, if they get ahead, they're just going to win.
Oh yeah, this is the other one as well.
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit because you've got to, I mean, even at Challenger Hour games, people make mistakes 100%. Like that's part, it should be it's part of the game, isn't it?
I never feel confident.
Robots.
I never feel confident that we're just going to win anymore after I get an elite.
Yeah,
like I never feel like that.
Yeah, you have to sweat.
You have to sweat to the end. You have to sweat to the end.
Yeah.
You're not going to, like it's good to get, you're obviously in a good spot and you can take over the game, but like there is so much that can go wrong. And I always say the further ahead you are, the worse you play. I actually feel like that is a trend.
Yeah, because people think the game's
they get complacent. They forget about shutdowns. They're in, they're happy chappy. We can do this Baron. We can, collect that side wave or, I can, how many times is it, Nathan? I don't know about you, for me anyway, where you do Baron, you're so far ahead and then you instant default to go to a side lane and you're in La La Land and then they pick you.
And
you just lose your Baron. And then like they just get a shutdown and then like you lose your, you can't do anything with the Baron.
They control an air of the
and it might lead to another pick.
The next pick and then your death time is unseen.
But you like wake up and you're like, what am I doing? Like they're trying to win. I'm just in autopilot land,
Sometimes it's too late.
It's just too late, yeah.
I think that's the biggest one. That's the big one. That's the most logical. It's very logical though, isn't it? Like
League's a chaotic game. Mistakes are going to happen.
Well, that's the illogic. That's the thing that people struggle with. Again, that's what he's struggling with. So his logical mind is saying, Vlad's 2-0. If he plays perfectly, he closes this game and he should because, people are robots. Like that's the...
No, I'm saying the logical way to debunk that is the game is inherently chaotic. Therefore, mistakes are bound to happen. Like if we're talking like statistically speaking or something, like with all the interactions, it's not like everything is going to go exactly as planned, right? Like that's a way of logically debunking, is it not?
No, it's not. That's a tool to deal with again, I think that he's very ingrained. I mean, it's true. Like let's say if I'm playing Rek'Sai, right, I get an early lead. Mm-hmm. Most of my games, if you make a mistake against me as an enemy jungler, I will close out the game methodically, perfectly. Like, the zero death Nathan Mock games, right? That is true, right? But, we're humans. You got to really respect that we're humans. We're not robots. And this is why I see a lot of, the famous coaches in the league scene, they expect pro players to be robots. We're not. One lapse in focus can lose you a game of League of Legends, and so you got to respect that people are going to make mistakes at all ranks, all elo.
Yeah, or obviously the lower you are, the more mistakes
they'll make. So yeah, I think it's just, and it's also maybe not respecting the part of your journey as well, where you are in your journey.
But what else were some of the excuses?
So the next one was, when he's made the end review, the learnings ended.
That's a hard one. That I do resonate with that. That is a hard one. Like you have this learning objective, or that, you made this mistake.
We had a saying called, Tim used to do this in Salty. He played for the review. So he was queuing up just to play to get the mistake, and then he's just done. It's like, I played for the review.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think because I think everyone has their own toolkit for this, I just want to win. I think that's right. I just want to win.
You just want to win.
Like I think like when I'm really trying and I really want to win, like I want to
do how messy it is.
I don't care what I look like. Like I'm happy to look like the shittest player on the server, and sometimes I look like that. Yeah. But if I win, I win.
Yeah.
Like I remember I won. I literally I was streaming in the MLA, right? This is dead set. I was streaming and I played first time Renata. I wanted to play Renata and I learned the champ, right? And I think I was 1-12. Like I was genuinely just dying on repeat, right?
What were you against? A pike or something?
No, it wasn't the lane that was hard. It was I think it was the mid game. I was just dying, and my W, I was just getting flamed by Incursio. It was flame worthy. It was disgusting, right?
Yeah.
But like I tried, like I was trying to the end. Like I guess it was a combination of just like let's just see what my champ can do, but also like I don't really care how bad I look. Like I think as you get older and maybe you play the game more, you kind of realize that no one's opinion really matters apart from yourself or maybe close people around you. Like, so I guess when I was younger, I cared a lot. I was very insecure about how I looked when I was playing, and I would care a lot about how other people, like I would care about if someone critiqued my play or said I was shit at the game or whatever. Like it would hurt me at an identity level. But I think as I got older, I realized, okay, League's just a skill. If I play bad in this game, doesn't mean I'm shit as an individual, as a person at an identity level. It doesn't mean that I can't get better. This is just one game and one example. And so I guess there's an inner belief that no matter how shit I look in this game or how bad my mistakes are, I'm going to be better next time. And I'll get better over time. And at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit what that guy says or thinks about me. I mean, if he thinks I'm bad, yippee. I mean, if he thinks I'm great, yippee. It doesn't change anything to me. Is that guy a beloved MLA long-term member? No. So I'm not really going to give a shit about his opinion, right? So I think that there's that as well. Like I care more about winning than the opinion of others. That's the message I want to get across. I care more about winning. So if you care as much about winning as you say you do, you really want to climb, you want to improve, right? I mean,
he wants to improve. What I'm getting at, he wants to improve, but he doesn't. He thinks that if he wins, if he tries that game, gets the LP,
it's not valid. It's like it's invalid LP, right?
That's the logical thing.
Are you a competitor or not? Right? Like that's the question. It's like that's just that's the wrong mentality for the game, right? Like there's too many mistakes. Like you got to finish the run. You got to do it. You just got to finish it. I mean, it's like when you watch you're watching the Olympics and you watch a snowboarder doing the half pipe, and then they mess up one of their tricks. Do they give up? No, they keep going. Like they fail that, they'll just keep going. Or they had a shaky landing, they keep going. Like you're a competitor. That's what you got to do. You got to view yourself as a competitor. Take yourself seriously in that sense, in that regard. And I feel as though once you've made yourself, like you've dropped your ego like you did in that game, and you kind of stop taking yourself so seriously, and you just, all right, yep, this is a game loser mistake. Okay, this sucks. I look like shit. Okay, great. Now, what do I got to do to win? Like you just got to do that.
That's right.
And that's hard. And that's it's not easy. And you might still suck at that for months, but like you got to have a crack. Like, and that's exactly it. You actually just got to have a crack, isn't it?
Having a crack.
And I guess the biggest thing, what you mentioned before, Nathan, is you got to accept the pain of trying your hardest and still losing.
Yes, that's so important. I love that.
You're going to try your ass off and you're going to still lose.
Strength. It's weak. It's actually a very weak mindset to the give up mindset. It reinforces the giving. It's just give up. You just give up. You're a loser.
Yeah, I think that's a better way to frame it. I think the last thing I will say about this is fort. Is that right?
Fort, yeah.
Every time you give up, I view it the same as every time you vent. If you vent in League, right? So you have a bad teammate and you vent, oh my God, my teammates are so shit. Look at blah, blah, blah. That's like a tally or a strike in the negative direction. Like you're going backwards as like a human. Like you're going backwards. That's how I view it, right? So what do? We hold our tongue. We ask ourselves high quality questions. We distract our mind. We do whatever we need to do to not vent.
And when that decision just not to vent builds mental toughness.
Mental resilience.
That's moving to the positive side.
Emotional regulation.
Yes.
We're going in the other direction now.
You're controlling yourself essentially.
I view yourself in a way as like, again, a halfway point, right? It was zero. We're at zero. One vent is you're at -1. Two vent, -2. You go, if the more you vent, the more you complain, the more you give up, you're going negative, negative,
and
negative.
then to get back, you have to go. You
go the other
back way. So
yeah,
let's say
chip
if you
away.
don't vent, you're in -10.
You're -10, now -9, and then you go up, and then you up, until you get you're in the fucking positive 100.
Yeah.
You're mentally resilient. That's your identity. And the more you do it, like you are your behaviors, right? You are your habits. So the more you do it, that shapes your identity, furthers that mental resilience, and then it's just a constant positive up, up, and up, and up, and up. So it will get easier, but if you're in that hole, if you're like -50, it's going to be fucking hard for you, dude. Like, no,
because your identity
is the giving up. My name is Fort, and I give up when shit gets hard, or when I get behind, or when I make a mistake.
I give up.
That's where you're at right now. So you're going to have to chipping away at it.
That doesn't change overnight.
And that's why I said it. I view it more at a personal level. That's why I say it's like out of respect for myself.
Yeah.
Like, fuck everyone. It's like, what sort of player do I want to be? It's embarrassing. That behavior is embarrassing, is it not? Like,
it is.
That's the way I view it. It's kind of like as well when
you think though, the thing with me when I was the same, I gave up when I made the end of review mistake. It's interesting. You don't actually view it. I didn't view it that way because I viewed very similar to Ford here. It's like, I don't deserve to win this game. And you think that that's like a cool mindset. It's
right.
Like,
it's an elitist mindset.
Yeah. You know, like so I think it's very easy to think that you actually are building that mental toughness, but you're actually not.
Yeah. Right. So you got it. So to TLDR this, the two lenses to help you view it, it's a skill within itself that you got to develop. It's going to develop mental resilience, mental toughness. And just because you win that game by losing gracefully and not losing the game for your team.
That's a separate skill in itself. And
skill in itself. And you're not getting worse. You're not getting undeserved LP, nothing like that. That's just you winning a game by doing your job.
And the enemy team making mistakes and they're humans. And
if anything, they should get punished for it. If they didn't run you over, they didn't translate lead. In a way, it's the way it should go, isn't it? Like if you win, you win. Like there's no, like they made mistakes, period. Is it like, if you actually like take a bigger look at it, you actually like take a look at it at like a meta level, you step above it. If they didn't translate their leads with the lead that they got, they don't deserve to win. If they really if you want to go this whole logical approach, like deserving of wins, did they translate the win? Did the person who killed you twice in the early lane, if they still lost, that's on them. They didn't translate the lead. That's
disgraceful. That's their
if anything, it's actually more worse for them than it is for you. That's if you want to look at it that way, you can look at it. I don't personally look at it that way, but you could look at it that way if that helps it, click for you. Many ways to look at it.
His last one here, in terms of his logical arguments, was if his team is losing in general to the enemy team, it's unlikely to change. People won't actually get better in the game.
Right.
So people say, like, no, don't gank the losing lane because even if you get them a lead, they're going to, because they suck. As of their identities, they suck.
I mean,
I can tell you many a times of, even for League as well, sometimes you don't have any other option. I have an example from a review session today. He literally had this exact narrative.
Yeah.
One of his laners got picked. They wanted the dragon. They were actually like somewhat ahead or even. Now they can't do dragon. They have to concede dragon, right? But he couldn't accept that. He sort of hanged around because his Yone was 0-3 split push in top. It was a 0-3 Yone. I said, your only option right now is to go top. He's going to be pushed.
Help that guy.
Enemy team's going to come on that wave and you're going to get a pick here because they're all bot.
Yep.
Someone has to
you got something. You got to do what you got to do.
It's like your only option.
Sometimes it's like, it's like min-max. You got to do what you can, right?
That's right. It's the min-max mindset.
I'll give you another example as well, right? Of the game yesterday where I played versus you. I was playing Ari mid into Silas. I do a really good roam top and I kill their top laner. But then I lose my focus and then I get picked on the way back by the Silas and I die. Think about that. If we look at it all objectively and logical, it's like, Ari's now ahead. He got that beautiful roam. He's doing really well. She's getting pressure. She goes top. She gets a kill. Top lane is now 3-0. And then what actually happened off that one mistake, I come back, I make a mistake. I lose lane control and then like top gets dove, loses shutdown. And like, it's actually all on me at the end of the day. Like that one death caused like a snowball effect, but like, that's it. Like I made a mistake. I was ahead on paper, like I could theoretically, it's game over and the Silas can't come back, but there's, people make mistakes. I made a mistake. People are going to slip up.
Right example.
That literally happened to me yesterday. I'm the one that slipped up. I'm the one on the winning side.
All right. I think that's enough for Mr. Fort there.
Yeah, hopefully something there sticks, all right?
Yeah.
Whatever does or doesn't resonate.
It is
with you.
good though. I do like that Fort. It sounds like he's very hard on his mistakes,
Yeah.
but it's to a detriment. So it's good and it can be dangerous, his mindset.
Yeah, he's kind of gone, he's like perfectionist to the extreme.
This is me again when I was stuck in Diamond. You know, I need to really embrace the chaotic nature of the game.
Yeah, it comes out of respect, doesn't it? Respect for the game.
For the game, that's right.
It's a chaotic game. Yeah.
All right, next question here is from Paul. The title of this email is Nathan's Mailbag. Hello, Coach Curtis and Nathan Mott. I've been a fan ever since I first heard your podcast around episode 3. I just wanted to thank y'all for the great podcast and content. Haven't listened for a while. I've noticed there are quite a few emails that come through the mailbag about talking to parents about wanting to seriously pursue League as a hobby or career. I just wanted to chime in with some advice from a similar situation I used to be in. I used to compete in Magic the Gathering on a serious level in the US while I was in high school. My dad thought it was the biggest waste of time. He vocalized this to me on many occasions, and one day I told him that he didn't even know what it was that I was doing. So the next time I went to practice at my local game store, I brought him with me. He was able to see that I wasn't just playing a game. While there, he saw the community I was meeting with, all with the same goal of improvement. It was a situation where he was able to look past it being a game and it being a vessel for self-improvement where I was able to learn risk management, probability, and social skills. From that point on, he supported my hobby. I bring this up since y'all both have the MLA and Salter communities, which I believe are similar to what I was doing in high school at my local game shop. As you have both stated before, it starts with the discussion about value and passion, and that hopefully leads to support. I hope this can help anyone else listening.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Such a good way to go about it. If you can get your parents to like have that discussion with them and show them, I mean,
this is what I do. This is why I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's brave of you to do that.
That's brave.
It's hard to do.
Very scared.
It's very hard to do.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's something that you know, I think especially your parents didn't have that respect for the game at all.
I mean, that's the media is gaming is really bad. And again, dad thought it was the biggest waste of time. Same with my parents. Thought League was the biggest waste of time.
Yep.
But if I actually sat there, I mean, I didn't have the skills to articulate it if it was good or not for me. So,
but you didn't even really know it was either.
I didn't know.
Like you had a hunch that it was, but you didn't really know.
I didn't even have a hunch. I just love fucking doing it. Dude. I just love playing the game.
Yeah.
But now we can articulate it.
Now we can articulate it. Yeah. I mean, that's an amazing story, Paul. I think you're spot on. It's just communicating it and just getting into like showing them. Yeah, it's a really great way to do it.
Well, I mean, once our parents saw the dials, especially when they came to the finals, at World Live Arena, that's cool.
Yeah,
they really accepted it at that point. Right?
Once you really see it, yeah, and especially nowadays, there's a lot more like content and
articles, mainstream articles,
and stuff like the podcast and heaps of great stuff. Yeah, really good advice, Paul.
All right. Next question here is from George. The title of this email is Autofill Players Affecting Your Decision Making. Hello, Nathan and Curtis. My question is mainly directed at Nathan since he's the jungler of the U2. As people climb higher and higher on the ladder, Grandmaster Challenger, you get to play with the same people a lot of the time and get to know them to a certain extent. You learn things like what champions they play and what role position they play. From a jungler's perspective, do you ever switch your early pathing from top to bot because you know that your top laner got autofilled there, but he's actually a support player? Since that person has no idea how to play the lane or the champion he picked in your mind, is it worth it to avoid playing around top in that game? Even though in a normal game, that's exactly what you would have done with the actual top laner, playing that same champion. Also, would you ever approach differently in lower elos, diamond, platinum? Love to hear what you guys approach to these situations, and thanks for the podcast. So
Nathan, why was I smiling at you?
You're smiling at me because I still path to people that are auto-filled, and we have different opinions on this.
Nathan and I differ on this one.
We do.
Usually this is just a giant echo chamber and we just spew the same bullshit to each other. But this one we disagree.
We do. So I'll start with saying in my games, right, why I do it, my mindset. So my mindset is, I don't look at anyone before the game or anything like that. I mean, obviously we do know people. I mean, it's true we do play with a lot of people. But this is my philosophy. Even if this person is auto-filled, let's say they're a challenger player on my team, I still can expect them, if they get a lead, that they're going to be able to hit their abilities. Just like, you know, they might just be the best win condition for the game, or I might have no option. So I'll still path towards what I think's best for the game. But there will be some element in terms of factoring, just a tiny bit, not as much as you, okay? Of like, yeah, okay, I need to be aware that like they're not going to probably be able to potentially carry this game as much as someone who's on roll, right? So the answer to your question, I still do it regardless, and I'm happy to lose that game. Even though I'll own my decision making for sure, and I'm very stubborn on this.
Yeah, so I'm obviously opposite. I put a lot of emphasis on that. If I know, okay, like yeah, if I know that I have a autofill, let's say I'm playing a roam oriented mid. Say I'm playing. Let's go back in the day to TF. So I was playing TF or Fizz, and I know that I've got two sides. Actually, let's say we get specific. Let's say we've got a very heavy trading top matchup. We have like a Aurelia versus Camille or something like that. But let's say my Aurelia top is actually like an 80 carry main, and they don't play Aurelia. And this is like they're just first timing Aurelia for whatever reason, right? And I know that because we know the players, right? I'm not touching that lane with a 10-foot pole. Mm-hmm. I'm leaving that to dry, and I'm going to all in.
So even if they somehow are 2-0, they get some kills, you'll still just never go there.
But that's just not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. Okay.
It's like unrealistic. Okay. Okay, I might go there to get myself fit. Like if it's a kill's a kill, right? I'll go there. Like, but I'm never viewing that. I'm not viewing that lane as a win condition. My win con is going to be on the other side. The same goes like, especially when I know the player's really good. Like if you have like Violet on like 80 carry, and you just see the player difference. And even though that lane isn't something you would traditionally play towards, I'm playing that guy. I know that guy will take over. Like you get that guy to 2 items on Ezreal, he's going to win the game for you. So I put a lot more emphasis on player difference than Nathan. And I think I always have in my games for me personally over the years of playing. And that's where we disagree.
We disagree.
Disagree.
Different approach.
But like, I think you're thinking of it more long-term because you're viewing, I'm going to play the game the way it's meant to be played in accordance to win conditions. And you're happy to lose that game.
That's
even
right.
Even if you could have won it doing it the other way, you want to do it that way. I don't believe you genuinely think that that's the best way to win. You just do it because you want to play fundamental League of Legends. Like you're like a purist in a way. It's like, yeah. I refuse to play the jungle role any other way, but this way.
Yeah.
Because you know that's how you teach it, and that's what's got you the consistent results. So you're just happy to take the L.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that you're spot on there. I just won't because
because it could just overcomplicate your journey, right? If you're not doing like your fear is that like if you do that one game and you get away with it, playing away from the win con, it weakens you, and then that will get you overcomplicating things. You'll start thinking too much about players, and it sends you down that rabbit hole. Whereas if you stick to your fundamentals, what's gotten you results, you're not going to overcomplicate anything. You're like, all right, I played to my win con, they just failed to execute, move on. You're happy with that. It's like a neat little package where it's like, I'll just do whatever it takes to win the game.
Yeah, I'm happy to take losses.
But I think this might even be role difference because I don't.
Yeah, that goes back to our episode that we talked about just before.
It goes back to you as a jungler. You have this set game plan, and that's the way to play jungle. Whereas mid, you're more versatile. You can do whatever you really want. I mean, because again, you have more flexibility. So yeah, it could be also a role difference thing.
Yeah, I think that could be a pretty big aspect of it. All right.
But I want to say one last thing about this. This is obviously only when it's an extreme thing. Like, you know, like, how do I frame this? Like, I would say this is definitely less of a thing in Master, and like, I wouldn't think like that in Master tier that much.
Oh yeah, we forgot to answer the lower elo. Yeah, Diamond and stuff. Oh, you shouldn't be thinking.
No, because you don't know anyone. I mean, you shouldn't be OPGing anyone anyway. You shouldn't be looking.
Right.
It's only in like GM Challenger games, like you know,
because you know, it's like, oh, I see this person.
It's like you've played with these people like 1,000 times. Like you just know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next question here is from Calvin. The title of the email is "Responsible League Content Consumption."
Interesting
title. Hi, Curtis and Nathan. I have a question for you. With so much league content floating around, how do people that want to watch it do it responsibly? How would this look if we are watching our favorite streamers for entertainment versus watching for education?
How do we watch stuff responsibly?
Yeah.
I was actually thought this was going in a completely different way.
Ooh.
I thought this was actually going in terms of the amount of educational content you watch.
Okay. I mean, we can maybe answer that part of the question. Do you want to answer his question first?
Okay.
So his question is here, how would this look if we're watching our favorite streamers? So watching content for entertainment versus education. And is there a responsibility aspect to it? So maybe he thinks that, is he getting that? I'm trying to read between the lines here, Calvin. If you watch for entertainment, you get worse at the game. If you
I think it's just, again, your mindset when watching it. Like, it's pretty common sense, isn't it? Like you're not there studying this guy's behavior. Like it's like okay, a better way to frame it is when you're at a comedy show, you don't take everything they say for Bible.
Yeah.
Like, for example, it goes back to that Will Smith, Chris Rock thing, right? He's a comedian and he's entertaining the crowd. So when Chris Rock says those jokes about Jada Pinkett Smith,
you don't take him literally.
You don't take him literally because it's again, he's a comedian. He's jabbing. That's part of his identity as an entertainer. He's there to make fun of things, and you're not meant to take those jokes seriously. It's not like he's attacking you at an identity level and trying to like put you down. He's trying to get a laugh out of everyone, and it's added. You take it at face. You don't take it at face value. This is really weird, but there's actually an old punk English song that I listened to, and at the very start of the song, it's a band called Crass, and at the start it says, "If it's not meant for entertainment, if it's meant for entertainment, you must take it as entertainment. Like, you don't take it any other way. Like, you know what you're getting yourself into when you watch an entertainer. You don't take it for education. You don't take it seriously. It's like." So when you're tuning into T1 stream or you're tuning into however it is stream, they're not educational streams. He's an entertainer. He has an alter ego in a way. That's Tyler One. He's putting on a show. That's what it's all about. He doesn't genuinely believe that playing 15 hours of solo queue in a way is the best way. If that guy was told, okay, Tyler One, what's the best way to improve the game? No, of course not. He would change 100%.
1,000 different champions.
And playing he wouldn't do this, playing all these different champs and all these different roles and, not reviewing serious reviews. He would do it a completely different way, right? But he's an entertainer. So it's, again, the mentality you have approaching it, right?
I agree. I think it's just the way. I think that as long as it sounds like Calvin's it sounds like he already knows the difference. I'd say the dangerous part is when you don't know the difference.
It's not easy if you don't know.
You're just like, oh, I'm just going to turn on this stream.
It's like if you know, you know.
This is an education stream. Now it's randomly an entertainment stream to me.
Yeah.
I mean, people label themselves as well.
But I think it's even more obvious in League than it is in anything else because once you know how the game works, you kind of just can look at their behavior and you're like, this either makes sense or it doesn't make sense. It's really easy if you have a critical eye and you're just curious. Like, it's pretty obvious usually most of the time, isn't it?
You can differentiate between the two.
Yeah. Like if you see someone raging and being like,
yeah, it's probably not that.
it's probably not an educational stream.
This guy first time in this champ. Don't know about this one.
That's right.
That's
right. Going back to the other one though, abusing educational content. I think that it's very easy to get into a hole of watching too much educational content. I've actually had people on my MLA as well watch too many VOD reviews and not just execute because it's there and you feel like you're doing a lot of work, right? When you're watching,
it's
VODs.
like you're working hard.
It's like you're working hard. You can't really tell though if you're only watching VODs or watching educational content and not executing. It's actually making you worse because you're overcomplicating things. You don't know what works and what doesn't work.
Yep.
So that's actually the problem that I think is more prolific.
That's a massive problem. I have many clients like that as well. They completely over educational content consumption. It's just like you get stuck in this algorithm and then you get in the videos, you get in the skill cup, you get in the pro guides, you get in even my videos and your videos, we got to execute.
You got to execute. Doesn't mean shit.
Play the game. Let's go. See that trap a lot. That's 100%. The responsibility. You need to know. You've been responsible with how much you're watching and what's relevant to you.
Favoring execution a lot more.
Absolutely, it should always be a high percentage than
what would you say the percentage is?
Oh, that's a good question. It should be 75-25.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
I mean, even
80-20.
I
I was even thinking maybe 85-15.
Yeah, that's better. It
Something
should be
like
higher. It has to be massively higher.
It has to be way
85,
higher.
15. Yeah.
Because it takes so long to develop muscle memory on something you learn.
Dude, now maybe thinking 90-10.
Yeah, probably even 90-10.
90-10, yeah. Oh, God, 75-20. Yeah, no, that's not right. No. Yep. That's just how important we value execution.
One last question.
I think we do.
Done?
That's it for
We're good?
today. Yeah. We've emptied the mailbag a little bit, but we've still got a lot.
Still overflow, Nathan.
Still got, probably got 20, 30 questions ready to go.
So, yeah, some good questions today. Continue to write us in. We'll get through as many as we can.
And that's
Anything else? Any final words, Nathan?
That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed Nathan's mailbag, and we'll see you next time.